up, guys? Sawcasm here, and today we're playing some more Rival Kingdoms. Today I'm going over the best low-level attack strategies for people just starting out to about Stronghold 4, early Stronghold 4 strategies. So this is mainly for people right out the gate for you to get going, to get on some nice little win streaks, get bonuses, you know, gold bonuses, get some nice extra chests, and here we go. So I'm going to open up my barracks. As soon as you start off, you only start with 2 units, soldiers and crossbow units. So you can pick up the mana hunters really early on. We're gonna show you guys that as well, but right now we're gonna start off with the soldier and the crossbow unit composition. So we're gonna hop right now into a multiplayer battle. All right, first let's start off with unit composition. So we're gonna change our troops. We're gonna start off with 1 soldier and 2 crossbow units. So what this is gonna do, it's gonna allow you to have 1 soldier to tank and then 2 crossbow units to place directly onto their defensive structures, which usually they're not gonna have more than 2 early on. So actually what we're gonna try to do, if possible, is if they have 1 open, at least like say 1 structure here that's open, we're gonna place our unit directly on that to attack it like that. But there's something to keep in mind. The soldiers are actually weak to the magic tower, so you don't want to place it directly on that, and the hunters are weak to splash damage, so you don't want to place them near a catapult, which you don't get early on, but that's perfectly fine. So we don't want to place these soldiers on this. We want to place it on an open structure that is not a magic tower. So the perfect candidate is right here. So we're going to see if we can place this down, and we can. I know you can see that because it's highlighted as soon as I drag the squad over here. So that's good to know, and now we can potentially place the crossbow units over here. So that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to zoom out and show you guys what I'm doing little by little. Okay, so first we're going to place the soldiers down, and then we're going to place the 1 crossbow unit and then the magic tower. You want to kind of space them out for these to avoid the splash damage, but it's all good. And you see they were able to take it out. We kind of missed the soldiers going hamburglar, but it's all good. So yeah, we didn't even need to use our ancient. This is still very, very basic, very, very simple. So I'm just going to fast forward this. Easy win. Okay, so what happens when they have a base that they don't have their defensive structures out in the open, such as this one? You know, they have the walls surrounding it and a pretty nice laid out base. Not amazing. I think personally I would have preferred to put the defense structures in the middle instead of these storages, but it could work nonetheless. And what we're gonna do is actually switch our composition up a little bit. So instead of the soldiers, we're gonna take the crossbow units because they can just bypass the walls, shoot over them. They have pretty good range, and yeah, so we want to look for, even if there's not a defensive tower outside that we can easily snipe, what we want to do is find the towers that we could just easily directly attack. So for example, if you hold the unit, be careful not to let it go because then they'll start going and you could potentially waste it. But we're going to look for which ones we can attack directly instead of going through other things first to attack. So it looks like we could get all of them right now. If it was a little bit different situation, like if they were in the middle, then there might have been some that we wouldn't be able to attack, but we would just go for the ones that we can attack. So what we're gonna do here actually is pick off this sorcery tower, and also we're gonna attack from the top to the bottom. But there's a twist. Instead of just, you know, sending all 3 of my units here, which is a possibility, we're gonna do is just once again try to send at least 1-to-1, 1 squad for each defensive tower. Now of course they have 4 defensive towers, but by taking out each one, or by sending a squad for each defensive tower, they should be able to take it out with relative ease and either go for the mana towers, which will give us our ancient abilities, or they will just be enough of a force left over to go for this final defensive tower. So we're gonna plop it down. Let's go for the sorcery tower first as a main focus, and go for that as well. And we're gonna go for this so we can attack down. Now notice I tried to place these away from this crossbow here, but it didn't work out so well. So now we have our units from the top attacking down and coming down to this crossbow over here. Unfortunately, our squad down here gets taken out, but it should be perfectly okay. So as they make their way down here, they're a pretty big force, you know, nothing crazy, but what we're gonna have to do is pop our ancient skill. So hopefully by the time you get to that other defense, you have some mana saved up, and in this case we're using the ancient that you start off with. So specifically for this video purposes, because I know you guys are not going to have more than 1 to begin with, you're going to have this guy at the beginning. So That's what I'm using, and he has a very good skill. It's a summon elemental. It's the 15 mana skill, the last one, and you could use it as a tank. So that's why we don't need to take soldiers early on, because we already have kind of a tank to tank for our archers once we get a few structures down. So, okay, so once again, these guys only have, or this guy only has 3 defensive structures, or 4 rather, but they're all out in the open, so this should be pretty easy pickings. But if a possibility, if you wanted to, could be to go through this way to get the mana and then use your ancient abilities to take these out. But I think it's just much more important, especially early on, to just go directly for the towers, at least at a 1-to-1 ratio if you can, because then you can really do some damage by the time you build up some mana. So instead what we're going to do here is try a 3 soldier troop squad, which normally I don't like. But since they're all out in the open, we don't need to shoot range over walls. I'm going to show you why this can be good. So they are weak to the magic tower, so you want to avoid that if possible. What we're going to do is send them all over here to attack these towers and then attack up. So I'm going to do that so they go as a unit and they don't take so much splash damage. Are we able to take out this ballista? Yes, it looks like we are. That's what we're going to focus down first, and I can't even focus it, so I'm just going to go for the tower up there. Okay, so now they're going work over here. Unfortunately, they attack down, so that isn't that good for us, but it is not bad as well because we are now having enough mana to summon our fire elemental again. Of course, if you don't have enough mana for the fire elemental and there's a situation where the rain of fire, aka the little fireball, this just does a little bit of damage, or your next skill, which protects you from the sorcery tower, that can also be a very big factor. So we're going to plop down our fire elementals as soon as we get them because they stay until they die. So you really want to have as many out as possible, as many out as you could possibly gather up, because this is not a time limit or anything like some other elementals in some other games. So really, really good. Okay, so those are some basic unit compositions you can use really, really early on when you're just starting with the soldier and crossbow unit, because those are going to be the only things you have unlocked. Once you start upgrading a little bit, it doesn't take much at all, only a little. It took me like a day to get these mana hunters, and once you have these mana hunters, it opens a whole new world of strategies. So basically, the mana hunters have a decent amount of health, okay damage, not very good. You see, it's about half of the crossbow unit and almost half of these soldiers, so not very good, but they do have a couple of things that they do very well. So first of all, they're very fast. Second of all, they have a decent range. Third of all, which is very important, is they fly. You see, they're literally flying. What this means is they could just go over structures, walls, it doesn't matter. They could just fly over it. So they basically ignore it completely. Instead of the crossbow units, they would actually have to shoot it or walk around it. Like, they can't just fly over it. So yeah, this saves a lot of time in certain situations. You could just shoot directly over walls and just continue fighting, so you don't have to wait to destroy that wall to get in. So here's a strategy when you get a little bit more advanced, not even that far advanced, but just a little bit advanced enough to get these mana hunters. What you want to do is, usually if there's like a target over walls, that's perfectly fine. Now notice before we had to kind of pick and choose the ones that were outside, but now we have a little bit more freedom to go for this one if we want. And the good thing here would be that we could go for this one and then they would attack this stronghold, get the 15 mana, even more than 15 because of the mana hunters, and we'd be able to summon elementals. So by the time we get down here, we'd have at least an elemental and probably some more skills ready to go. So that is one strategy, but this early on, I definitely think that sending out one squad per defensive unit, if you can, is definitely the way to go. So we're going to do just that. I'm going to send one unit right here, one on the spell tower, and one on here. So one thing to keep a note, I'm just going to let it play at normal speed, but one thing to keep a note is to not place these mana hunters right, or any ranged unit right next to where you want to place them. So notice they have a little bit of range. It's nothing crazy, but a little bit. So if you place it right next to it, then it's not going to be able to take advantage of their range. You know, don't treat it like a melee unit is what I'm trying to say, because they have a range. So take advantage of it just so you get a little bit spacing from the other defensive units possibly. It might help, it might not, but it's a good habit to get into. So yeah, see, we take it out. We have already one elemental out and we have one more to go, and we almost have a third if we attack one more mana building, and we would actually get a third. Here we go. Here's our third elemental. So there you go. That's exactly my point right there. They build up, and you can pretty much make an army of elementals, and they really substitute for these soldiers as well. So really, really good, and they do a lot of damage. So really, really good starting attack strategy. So let me know what you guys thought about this strategy. There's some really, really good attack strategies to help you guys get started. This is by no means all the attack strategies when you start out. This is by no means 100% the best for every single situation, but definitely a really good attack strategy to get you started. So hope you guys did enjoy. Thanks for watching. Leave a like rating if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you're new. And with that said, thanks for watching.